Peace to everybody out there in the comic book and collector world. It's Big Vega. We got Batman here. We're here at Tony Cade's shop, Challenges Games and Comics, and we have a special occasion here today with David Crownson, the bookmaker of Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer.
Yes.
And he'll be signing, doing autographs and presentations, and also showcasing his work, which will be also option on Disney soon. So we just want to chop it up with him right quick, see what his aspirations are, where his work is at, and where it's going. So pleasure to meet you first and foremost.
Pleasure to meet you both.
Yeah, I guess we'll start off with like how long you've been doing this for.
I've been doing this since 2015. I got the idea in 2015. I raised the money to make it in 2016. Self-published it in 2017, and I've just been rocking and rolling.
That's awesome.
So yeah, man. Yeah. So it's been a minute. It's been a minute.
So when it, as far as like artistry, writing, like how did you like put that all together? What was the process? Was it tedious? Was it?
No, it was tedious and hard. I think I found Cortland who drew this cover. Found him on Facebook, and I said, "Hey man, I have this idea for a comic book." He said, "Oh, what's it called?" "It's called Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer." And he was just like, "Yo, we're gonna get in trouble. Let's do it." And that's like how it started. And then I think his wife was pregnant, and he was drawing the first issue, and he's like, "Hey, I can't do the second issue." I'm like, "Why?" I'm like, "Why can't you do the second issue, brother?" He's like, my wife's water broke." And I was like, "Oh."
That's pretty deep.
He's like, "I just sent you the PDF of the first issue, but I can't do the second one. Some life-changing stuff is going to happen in the next 24 hours. So I think we got Joey Vasquez, who now works for Marvel, and he did issue 2. And then issue 3 was a great artist named Sylvan Repos, because Joey couldn't do issue 3 because Marvel picked him up off of issue 2. And Sylvan, great artist, but he used to speak a word of English.
Right.
So I was like, "Hey man, like, why don't you draw my comic book?" And he was like, "Okay." I was like, "Is the only word you know is okay, brother?" He's like, "Okay." And I was like, "Oh no!" So we had to like just make the script in French. So it was a big challenge, but it all came out great, and all of them just were, because each issue it's a different artist, but they still create a same like continuity of like just what the essence of what the book is. So I like, it was fun and stressful, because again, everyone's different, everyone draws differently too, and everyone has different strengths. So I had to kind of like write to their strengths, like this person's really good at action, or this person's really good at like character and conversation. But yeah, they're all great, all of them.
Yeah, as an artist, I definitely empathize with that whole process. Some people might be better at backgrounds or like the angles versus the fighting scenes, or And I also came to realize some of the greatest artists are in different countries.
Yeah, like we have Matteo Illuminati, who's from Italy, and Sylvan's from Paris, and like Cortland's from like Philadelphia, and like Joey, he's from like Denver, Colorado, so it's different people from different walks of life, who are like drawing black characters, and thankfully like 60% of the people who worked on this book were all black and of color. Well, actually, no, like 90%. But I think like Joey, there's a scene where a character's hair gets wet, and he was like studying black hair for you would think he's like a serial killer who was hunting black women, because he just had a whole bunch of like a Google search history of like what happens to black women's hair when it gets wet, what happens to ethnic hair when it gets wet, so because he was really meticulous in just how he was like studying. But yeah, like it was a great team of people, and they all like came in and just brought their own flavor, and then they're like, "All right, I'm out, deuces." But not because they were like, "Oh, I don't want to work on this." Like Joey was contracted to do issue 3, and then Marvel came and was like, "Hey, Spider-Man." And it's like you can't like turn down Marvel. You can't turn down like those Marvel checks. So he's been doing Spider-Man consistently since like 2018.
that's even dope that you even got to get some of that, material from him,
Yeah. Like, I'm grateful that everyone that's started on this book has gone on to do bigger things. Like Cortland, who did this cover. He's now doing storyboard stuff for movies, and he's doing like different anime and manga and video games now.
Right.
And he's doing like lots of Legend of Korra stuff. He's working with Pokemon. Which is like crazy. It's
that the credential that's embedded in this project is like golden.
Yeah, it's like what was your first job? Oh, Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer. Now he's doing Pokemon.
When did you ever feel like challenged with like in the midway before achieving this goal, where it was so challenging? You were like, I don't know. Did you ever have any doubts or?
Yeah. Like, because I thought this, like, I made this because I thought it was a fun idea. I thought it was cool.
Right.
But I think when I shared it on like social media, because when you share, it's not yours anymore.
Right.
It becomes about everyone else and their opinions on it. So I was like, oh, this is fun and cool, but some people were like, this is disrespectful. How dare you use Harriet Tubman?
Right.
Your mama ain't nothing. And I was like, oh my God. Like, these were like strangers.
Yeah.
People I've never met before.
And I think that's the challenge, us worrying about what other people think.
Yeah, oh yeah.
When we're projecting something out into the world that has a perspective that's strong, there's always going to be opposing views, and it's like, you still got to stay true to where you stand and go through with it.
Oh yeah. That's a strong walk, because I was ready to quit. Because like I think we shared it, and I think it was trending. There was like 27,000 people talking about my comic.
Right.
And at the time, I'm just a dude who works at like Olive Garden,
Right.
And I like work at an office like as a side hustle to make ends meet.
Absolutely.
And I'm just David. I'm just a guy who's a fan of comic books and watches movies and likes art. And then I never thought my name would be like people like doing a think piece. Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer, what does it mean?
Right,
He's like, what is this Negro talking about? How does it fit into 2016 and today? I was like, yo, it ain't that deep. It's just Harriet Tubman kill. Like, I just thought it was fun.
Yeah.
So like I was gonna quit actually. Because though it was 27,000 people talking about it, there was 800 people who were like, yo, I'm mad about this.
Right.
And I saw a lot of those, so I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, it's always that monkey wrench. There's always going to be somebody that doesn't like what you do. So I'm glad that you persevered.
Yeah, because I think this is for all creatives, or if you're trying to do anything new and you're risking it, you have to surround yourself with people that are team you and who will encourage you through things like this. Has been a long road. Like, a lot has happened between now and like 2015 when I started this. So I think having like a good core of people who will encourage you through like the really tough times. It's been tough. It's been like a lot of stuff that's happened. Like I battled like homelessness at one point. I had to choose between getting my comic books printed or like having to move back home with my family. And I was like, I'm gonna print my comic books, because like my mom was like, yo, you can always like live here, you can always get the money again, but you need to put this out there. And then I was like, okay, and I was like, I can't pay my rent. And
Salute to moms for that.
Yeah, my mom was great. And
that was a game changer.
Yeah, because then I printed all the comic books. I moved back, and my roommate was my mom, and I was like, man, I was like 30. So I was like, man, like, what am I doing? Like, I should be. And I think a woman I was seeing at the time was like, I can't be with no man who was home with his mama. I'm out. And I was like, why? I was like, why, Lord? Why, God? Why? But then I think this one story, it was Kevin Smith's comic book shop, where I live in New Jersey, and they wanted to buy like 10 issues, and I was like, man, only 10. So I went there and I sold like 10 copies, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to keep doing this. Something will pop up, something will happen. Like, I got to commit to this. And then as I was driving away, I got a phone call, and they were like, hey, is this David? I was like, yeah, who's this? Like, oh, this is Kevin. We're from Kevin Smith's comic book shop. Your book just sold out in 10 minutes. Wow. And I was like, what? He's like, you have to come back. And I was like, oh. I was like, now? Like, yes. So I drove back, and they bought an entire, like, box of, like,
that's what I call manifestation.
Yeah. So just
stuck to your grind.
yeah, and just like and a similar thing happened. Like during the pandemic, I was supposed to go on this big book tour, and I decided but then the pandemic happened, so I can't do that shit. So I think chapter 5 was coming out, and I was like bored, and I was like, hey, we should film a commercial. And I got a bunch of my friends who were great, and I bought all the costumes. And got an actress to play Harriet Tubman. Got my friends to do makeup and play vampires, and we shot.
You got the footage?
Yeah, no, it's on. Yeah, you can find it on YouTube.
Oh, that's right.
It's on YouTube.
Let them know that link.
Yes. The Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer commercial. What's it called? We'll post a link in this. I'll send you a link.
Yeah, we'll put it below.
Yeah, yes. We'll splice it into this interview, but so I was like, bro, again, same thing. Pandemic not working, everything was wrong. Moved back home again because I put all my money into filming this commercial. So I'm like, pandemic, can't go anywhere. My mom is my roommate. My sister had to move back home now, and I was like, oh, what am I doing? Like, what is happening? And I put the commercial out. People started buying the comic book again, and I was like, all right, cool, this is awesome. And I was like, man, I'm like, okay, maybe it's a good thing. And then I got a phone call from a friend of mine. It was Sebastian Jones when we pushed the commercial. And Sebastian worked with Prentice Penny, and he was like, hey man, the commercial looks great. And I was like, thanks. What's up? And he's like, oh, where are you right now? I'm like, I'm in Jersey. And he's like, hey, what's going on with Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer? I'm like, you just shot the commercial. He's like, wait, do you have any TV or film stuff with it? I'm like, no. The only thing I got on film is on the link for YouTube right now. He's like, listen, I gave it to Prentice Penny, and he really likes it. He's like, do you mind if we make a TV show out of it? So he's like, do you mind?
I know at that moment, how you felt must have been like.
At that point, I was tired. I was in my car with a broken air conditioner, and I just was like, I was like, yo, man, I guess we can meet, because I've dealt with lots of people in Hollywood when it comes to this property, and I've heard lots of crazy stuff. I'm gonna write a book one day. There was a time where I think someone wanted Beyonce to be Harriet Tubman, and at first I was gonna do it. But then I was like, wait a minute. For the record, everyone watching, I love Beyonce. I love Beyonce, the singer. Beyonce, the actress. I'll watch her.
You see a little bit more.
Like she's on a screen.
With her on Hollywood.
Exactly. Beyonce, the singer, forever, for life. We're this, son. But this guy who works with Beyonce was like, hey, we want Beyonce to be Harriet Tubman and do the soundtrack. I was like, oh, she can do the soundtrack? He's like, nah, she'll act and do the soundtrack. I was like, oh no. So I was like, oh no. So the guy was actually before that, he dumped. I'm just making this part up. He dumped a bunch of money on the table, and he was like, all this money is yours. And I was like, oh great. But wait. And I was like, what? And he's like, Beyonce has to be Harriet Tubman. And I'm like,
the record skip, right?
Yeah, it's just he's like, take a night to think about it. That was a long ass night.
That has to be because
you're trying to again, same thing. I'm trying to rationalize, I'm like, maybe I could teach her how to be Harriet Tubman.
Right, maybe a little makeup and edging or something.
And then I was like, nah, that ain't gonna go right. Yeah. Maybe it could be a musical or something like that.
Take away the genuinity.
Yeah.
What you created.
Exactly. It'd be cool. All right. I just thought okay, 10 years in the future, I have all this money. I have a nice house and a 2019 Honda Accord. But there's this terrible show that was out.
That could make a break.
Yeah, and no one's buying my comic books anymore. But I have a lot of money, and I have a 2019 Honda Accord. Sorry, it's my dream car, everyone. SUV, CRV, Honda Accord. It's energy efficient. But I just was and again, same thing. I was about to be homeless. And this is before the pandemic. It was a long. I told you it was a long night. It's a long night. So I went back and I tried to convince them to just have Beyonce or just do the music for it, and someone else can act in it. And I tried to rationalize, hey, maybe Beyonce doesn't feel like acting. She's gonna be a Lion King. I was like, shit.
There's so many qualified actresses, mind you, that could probably nail the role and make it epic and timeless. You know
Yeah, so I was trying to tell them on that, like, let Beyonce be a producer on this. Like, no, I was trying to act.
Yeah, it's like when Nas did, Nas, he does movies. You know, he doesn't always try to be in the movie.
Yeah, he's not trying to like beat it. So they said they were like, listen, if you say no, all of this money on this table, and that other table and that table, we're gonna take it away. And I was just like,
I gotta commend you.
it was a long night. Listen, everyone, please listen. If you have to choose, please take a minute to think about it, and like just again thinking in the future of like how would I feel if this came out and how would I look. Like, don't make choices based on like the now and like the temporary like gain from it. You gotta think like 12 steps ahead, and that is hard. It's hard because I needed that money.
I'm learning.
I was
from this.
desperate for that. I was like desperate for that. I was like, no, I never make choices out of desperation, and never make choices out of fear. And like, I hate being scared. I don't like it. So I came back in the meeting, boss, and I was just like, it can't be Beyonce. I'm sorry. I love Beyonce, but she it has to be like this, or I'm not going to do it. And then they were like, and I am a little bit proud because they were like, well, if she's not doing it, but then all this money is going away. And I was like, hey, you can keep your money, thank you so much. And I got up and left, and then just like walked, and they were like, oh my god, I can't believe you left. And I'm like, yeah, I can't like go out, and then went back and talked to them.
Believed in your brand.
Yeah.
You knew the potential.
Oh yeah, it was rough because like I had to move back home because I couldn't afford my rent.
Did you feel like at some point, like if I got to this table, I know
this
is
of
not
course.
going to be the one and only opportunity.
Oh yeah, of course.
To get this more fine-tuned to the way it should be.
Yeah, like I was like, okay, there's something else better for me, and it was rough because I was moving back home again, and I remember one day it was like raining one day, and all my stuff got messed up in the rain, and I was like, man, maybe I should take this. But then like, I'm like, no, something else will come from this. At least like I can always, my room in New Jersey with my mom and my family, I'll always have that. So I don't have to make choices that will compromise me or make me
do or die kind of.
Exactly. Like I will always have that safe haven.
Yeah.
And also, or if I didn't have that safe haven, I'm grateful to God. I have friends and people that will be like, hey dude, we got you.
Right. And
like,
it's safe to say that your faith and your commitment to what you created got you this far.
Yeah, man, because bro, it has been a rough. Like I've taken, like there are other jobs that I got offered that were going to take me away from this, and I was like, hey, I can't do that job, so I got to focus on getting this done. And again, it's been like a long, hard walk, and turned down like that Beyonce thing. It was millions of dollars. It was more money than I've ever seen, and just to have someone who I wouldn't. Who isn't my first? Hell, it isn't my second, third, fourth, fifth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th. Sorry, Beyonce, if you're watching.
You do know the Beehive's gonna get you on
in the comments section. Listen, the Beehive, they even know. They even know. The Beehive like knows what time it is when Lion King came out. They were like, yo, y'all better not say anything about Beyonce's singing in this. They were like, but her acting. They're like, you know what? We can't really say shit about this. So like there was that. But I really think that people should, again, take the longer way, take the harder way if it allows you to keep your dignity intact, and also going to sleep feeling good about yourself. Like, yes, money is great, money is important, but you need to be able to sleep at night. Fame, success, money, it intensifies who you already are naturally. So what makes me happy that we're doing this now with Prentice Penny and with Disney and Onyx and Hulu.
Get a little specific about how that came to.
Yeah, so basically, backtracking, Sebastian said, "Hey, like, do you mind, like, if we have a meeting with Prentice about making Harriet Tubman Jr. into a TV show?" And I was like, "All right, fine. Beyonce can't be Harriet Tubman." What? Nothing. He's like, "What did you say?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it." He's like, "Don't worry about it." Yeah, don't worry about it. So we had the meeting. You know, Prentice. I'm a big fan of Prentice, and he was just said, "Hey, I think the book looks great." And he just explained why he thinks it would be a great TV show. And he was like, "Hey, do you mind if we make this into a show?" And he was like, "Do you mind?" This big producer who is talented, and sorry, I couldn't hold it down. Like I was gonna try and be like very like calm and relaxed.
What was your thrill factor? I was about to ask
it was a straight up reaction. I couldn't hold back. I was like, "Fuck yes, you can make it. Make it into a show. Do it today. Do it." I'm like, through the book. I was like, "Do it." He's like, "Dave, why'd you throw this book at me?" He's like, "Oh, make it now." Shit. So and he went and like Prentice the same way where he's like, we're not going to make choices out of desperation. We're not going to make choices because of money. We're going to make choices because we want to make the best show. We want the best.
Stick to the story.
Exactly.
Stick to the feel of it.
Exactly. And he's like, "Yo, I don't care how long this takes." And he's like, "Listen, we are not. Those cameras aren't going to touch down in Atlanta until we have 10 solid strips." And at first I was like, "Listen, brother." But now that it's holding me accountable to do my best work on this, not just because I want to like get a check or something.
Do they let you get behind the scenes with the
Yeah, because before I thought like he was just gonna be like, "Listen, we're the producers, we're Disney, we're gonna take this."
Exactly.
So I expected like that, but when I had the meeting, he's like, "You write in 3 episodes." I was like, "Shit!" I was like, "Yo, put the gun down." You know, like he's like, "You're gonna write 3 episodes, and we want you to be intimately involved in the process of making this." You know, and they were like, "David, what do you think?" Like we all had a meeting, and like all the execs were talking, and I'm just like sitting there just chilling, you know, drinking some juice, and they're like, "Well, okay, well, David, what do you think?" I was like, "What?"
Right.
Like, "What do you think, David?" And I'm like, "Oh, fuck." And I would say, "Hey, I think it should be this and this," and then everyone's quiet. "David's right." And I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "What?" It's like, "David's right." I was like, "Yo, can we record this so my girlfriend and mom can hear this?"
Right.
Like, I've never heard that. Okay. But yeah, they want me intimately involved in the process of making it, and they don't have to do that. They could just say, "Yo, listen, we're Disney." Like that mouse can just say, "Oh, we're taking this," and just be like, "Get out of here, D-World," or something like that.
Please tell me you celebrated that day.
Well, like I didn't, because it still hadn't set in, and then like again, I've heard and dealt with some crazy Hollywood stuff, so I was like, I still wasn't sure what it was gonna look like. I think I celebrated when hilariously it was around my birthday when we had like a big meeting about it. I was like, "Okay, this is cool, this is solid, and he's gonna make it the way, not just the way I want to make it, because like I might have like his ideas might be better than mine, that actually suit the project better."
Yeah.
You know, so like I celebrated for like a minute, and then I was like, "All right, let's get to work and get this done." And it's been a great supportive like group of people, and I'm glad that it's a diverse group of people, like there's like Black people, Latino people, Asian people, all like working on this to make it to just make it great. Just make the best show, like, and see what happens. If you watch it, great. If you don't watch it,
I feel it's gonna catch on like flames. You know, it reminds me of like a buddy of mine we met at a con, Tyler Martin.
Yeah. Tyler Martin, Godhood. He was just here.
Yeah.
Shout out to Godhood Comics.
Yeah, we did an interview with him. He was on the show too. And his show got options.
Yes, it did.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of Tyler, and I'm a big fan of that comic book.
Dope community of brothers that's really like have a story to tell, came from the bottom up with their idea and stuck true to it, and that's even inspiring feeling to me. You know, like, because you take that lesson of what you guys went through to make this fruition and you could actually implement that with your kids, with your family, with people that that surround you. Like don't stop. Don't.
Yeah. Don't give up. Don't take the easy way. Because I've seen people take the easy way, but like it doesn't. There's no longevity. It
fizzles out.
Easy way. Yeah, it fizzles out. Like I said before, like I could have taken millions of dollars,
Right.
but they make a terrible show, and then there's a terrible stink on them because like my name is attached to that forever.
Right.
Like I'm like, hey, I have a new comic book out. It's like, wait a minute, you're the Beyonce Beyonce Demon Slayer.
Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
want the has-been cape
like,
on you.
Yeah, it's like the has-been cape. The has-been cape, and it's like yellow.
I remember
It's
you.
It's like, wait a minute, you're the one that let Beyonce be Harriet Tubman. Get the hell out of my store.
You're gonna have something epic though, and it's been such a pleasure meeting you and getting you chopping it up with you. This is great.
Thank you.
And I wish you nothing but the best and big, and just hold you up
We
from
got some
here.
people waiting on you.
Oh, snap, people are waiting.
Yes.
They're like, we're waiting
Shout out
on
to
this.
Tony Cade, Challenges Games of Comics. People come through and salute. And we'll definitely be in tune. This will be on air soon. It's Vegas signing off.
Hello.
Alright, so I'm here for the Beyonce organization.
Oh, shit. He's like, I heard you was talking shit.
What's up with that?
Heard you was talking shit about Beyonce.
Alright, you said you gotta tune you up.
It's like, oh no, not again. How are you, man?
Doing good, doing good. It's been like a good minute since we actually met face to face. But we met then with Tyler on his thing, and I was trying to catch you at the show, but I couldn't get the flight out and everything else. But then you came to my neighborhood, so I'm like, well, here we go. Also, still waiting on my issues.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What's your last name?
Mason.
Troy?
It's a creature
Andre?
Ooh.
Alex? Andrew? Anderson? Wait a minute, did you order single issues?
I ordered a single issue. No, first of all, I'm playing. It's not ready. I know that. Right?
Yes, it is ready. Single issues, yes. For Harry.
No, not for Harry. I'm talking about for the other thing.
Oh, for Nightmare Newer?
Yeah.
Oh, you had me feeling bad. And shit. I was like, oh no. Let me call someone and scream.
No, because like I hit you up and I was like, hey, I'm not seeing something. You had guided me through the process.
Oh, yeah.
And then you were like, well,
Yes.
sort of real generous. And you was like, 200, and I was like,
Ashton.
bingo.
Yes.
All right.
I didn't recognize you without the. It's the face mask.
I know. It keeps my identity hidden.
Oh, for the record, everyone, I usually wear my face mask. I'm not like conservative or something like anti-vax or something crazy. It's just because.
Public disclaimer.
All right.
I was like, guess what? That's my sidekick. I work for them too.
Like I saw this tweet that I think is hilarious. It's like, I went into a grocery store without wearing a mask, and I was terrified because I was afraid I was going to be Republican. So full disclaimer, everyone, that is my mask and that is my Android phone, right there. So just so everyone knows. So yes.
But I never had the opportunity to pick this up when this was like running. And every time I try to like call places, like either they have it or they sold out. It's catch 22.
Right. Well, here's your chance.
Here's my chance.
Here's your chance. Buy one, damn it.
Yeah.
You too. Buy one too.
Oh,
We checking out with this right here.
That's right.
Would love a picture too, like
Done.
while you autograph
Done.
it,
Done.
catch a
Hold
moment
up.
in history.
Hold up. I'm double signing it.
Hey.
I'm personalizing it. Who should I make this out to?
Vic Vega and Batman, which is BATMAAM.
Hold on. Batman.
Bats.
Hold on.
Yeah, see
M-A.
about that life. You gotta see her cage, her back cage.
B-A-T.
M-A.
After like 5 more rolls.
Thank you, Batman.
You got trademark that, man.
And Vega. And that's V-E-G-A.
Yes, sir. Just
Okay.
like the reservoir dog.
All right, cool. Cool. Like, no, I had one person who was like, it's Vega. So, and I spelled it just like this. He was like, hey, man, it's V-E-G-G-U-H.
Like, what country are you from, bro?
I was like, yeah, where are you from? Brooklyn. I was like,
That shit is crazy.
I was like, what are y'all
Albanian or something?
I was like, yo.
Yeah, so we'll be putting that video up in due time. We're just establishing
Yes.
the name and the lookers.
Tag me.
As far as the
Tag
comic
me
book
in
trap
it.
house, we could put this interview on the
Wait, comic
trap house.
book,
but
comic
then-
book trap house?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
It was actually live last night.
really?
Sip brews and talk about books. We have cover combat where we battle with a topic and see who got the best cover for 3 rounds. And now we're gonna be starting up our own channel, like for comic books and collectibles, because we got a ton of stuff to display. We work
love
with
it.
Tony, you know. We work
I
with
love
a lot
it.
of
Nerds, I love it.
Absolutely.
Nerds, I love it. I love it. Nerdy as hell. Nerds.
I always wanted to
Yes.
be one, and now I can be one with no shame.
Now you can be one. No shame.
Damn right.
Here you
Yeah, I
go.
appreciate it, bro.
You're welcome.
Much
That'll
blessed.
be $60.
Oh yeah.
Actually, wait. Hell yes, that'll be
Where we do the
$60.
payment here or
Do it here. Do it here.
Say less.
Look, sorry everyone, I haven't been paid yet, so that is why I'm.
I firmly believe people are paid for their work. That's one thing I stand on.
Thank you. I'm gonna sit tight. I'm gonna get to you. I know you have your seat and everything like that.
Give me one.
How much was it? 60?
It is $60 hairs. $60 hairs.
I always am a firm believer people should get paid for their hard work.
All right, I stopped it at 31 minutes.
Awesome. That's perfect.
I think I stopped
We
it.
can add some nice flavor to it, you know.
Yeah, I'll
Make it dope. I need a picture with Tony too. Before we step out.
Oh yeah.
I'm not special.
Well,
No, we want a picture with you. Oh. You just send it to me.
Just make sure I get camera credit.
camera courtesy, Tony Cade.
Yeah, that way it's both
All right, I'll
of
wire
ours.
it. I mean, wire it.
That way it's both of us.
Hold on, it's taking a minute.
Oh, wait a minute.